Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going through an inside sales process which we have given away to our internal clients, right? I've done for you clients that pay us a high ticket amount to join, and we set up this process for them. So I wanted to give it away for free, like the bird's eye view of what we do and what we're doing internally when we're booking 250 to 300 calls every single month and how we deal with that. If you're interested in just mapping out a sales process for your own agency or high ticket coaching program, then this is the perfect video for you. Have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye-bye. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the exact sales process that we use for Automate clients to close clients basically from a booked call, so maybe they never even heard about us before, to actually becoming a client in the fastest way possible. This is our whole sales cycle, if you will, and I hope you learned something new. Okay, so from after booking 250 calls every single month at the moment, we've really dived into our sales process and really fixed any bottlenecks that we're experiencing, ensuring that we're only speaking to qualified prospects on our demo calls and that we're only selling to people that we know will be a great fit, meaning the people that will get the best results out of our program. Okay, so as a bird's eye view, we'll use the first starting point as booked call. Okay, so this is where people are coming into your sales team's calendar. They're booking onto your calendar. Regardless if they booked before or not, everyone should still have a triage or however you want to call it. Let's call it triage today, right? So we have a triage call which basically qualifies the prospect. Okay, you ask them who they are, what they do and how they do it, why they booked the call, why now is a good time for them to invest in a program. Are they willing to invest in a program? If so, how much do they have to invest? All of these qualifying questions, which will basically determine if they're a great fit. Now, I would give you a set of qualifying questions on this video, but every business is different, right? So it depends on what your qualification points are for a new client to work with your business. Okay, so I'll put some main ones up on the screen now of like general questions you should be asking for definite, and then you can add in extra questions that will help qualify that person even more for your particular business. Okay, so it does change business to business, but the general point is still there. So once you decide to tell if someone's qualified or not, you then have two options. You can then disqualify them, or you can offer them a demo call. One mistake I made in the beginning of running businesses online is that I basically qualified anyone that wanted to pay me money. Now, the reason why that is a big mistake is because you'll then have a higher churn rate because you'll be signing clients that aren't a good fit for your business, for your program, meaning their piece of their puzzle doesn't fit to your piece of your puzzle, and it creates a whole mess, and it doesn't work, right? It simply doesn't work. They don't get results. So it's super, super important that you qualify the people that you're trying to sell to, and it gives you full control. For example, for every 10 calls that we take, we say no to 6 of those people. Okay, so 60% of the people that book on my calendar never make it past the first triage call. Okay, they never make it to our sales team's calendar. In actual fact, they just make it to the triage call. Okay, and that's because we have a clear set of qualification points that if they don't meet those points, they're never going to find out what we do and how we do it in great detail, because it's just a waste of everyone's time. They're never going to be a good fit, so they don't need to know what we do and how we do it. Okay, so do the same thing for you, because you'd always rather quality over quantity. Yes, you can go and sell 10 people your program, but if those 10 people leave after 3 months and never pay you another penny, versus if you signed one person that stayed for 3 years, you've already made more off that one person, right? So you see how that kind of works from a lifetime value standpoint. It's super, super important. You want the people that you work with to stay with you forever, okay? So once you've qualified them, and they're either qualified or they're not. So if they're not qualified, you simply say, hey, look, thank you for taking your time to speak to me today, but right now is not a good chance for us to work together. You don't meet our qualification points. I'm very sorry. Here is our content. Here is our Facebook group. Here is information that's going to help you to get from where you are to where you want to be. However, right now we cannot help you. I hope you understand. Then the call ends. And then if they are qualified, you say, look, after speaking with you for the last 20 minutes, I do 100% believe that we can help you out, and I'd love to get you on a demo call. We don't call it demo calls, but I'd love to get you on a roadmap session is what we call it, where we can build you a custom roadmap on where you currently are to where you want to be, and basically give you a great amount of value on your business and how you can grow. You can then make one of two options, and that's number one, you can either work with us, Automate clients, or number two, you can choose to take the information and implement it yourself, depending on where you're at and what your kind of vibe is around our business, right? So You then book them into that demo or roadmap session, and you want to do it as soon as possible. So the same day, the next day, no more than 48 hours ideally, because you want to still have it fresh in their mind that they've just had a triage call, they've already kind of qualified themselves, they're still thinking about the process, and it's going to be a lot easier to sell them rather than waiting 2 weeks or a week even. It's going to be a lot easier to sell, right? So once you're on the demo call, okay, you then want to have a set out script. I call it the demo script, but you can call it a sales script. And it's basically a way to take someone from being qualified, coming onto the call, breaking ice, having a conversation with them, going back into their pain points. So why they booked a call in the first place, what they're struggling with in their business, what they've tried to do in the past to fix that problem, why hasn't it worked, reminding them why it hasn't worked isn't their fault, and what they can do to improve in the future, and then asking them what their main levers are for actually taking action. So do they want more money, do they want to be happier, do they want to help their family, like what is their true meaning and true purpose with growing their business. And then once you understand all of that, you then simply transition into explaining your service or program. I like to use the 3-pillar technique, which basically summarizes the whole program in 3 easy to understand pillars, and then go through that in about 3-4 minutes max, completely explain what we do, and then we'll always finish off with our offer or guarantee, which then basically rounds it up as being like, look, this is perfect for what you're trying to achieve. And then I ask them 2 simple questions. I say, hey, is client acquisition your biggest bottleneck in your agency right now or coaching program right now? They say yes. So after everything I've talked about and everything we've discussed today, do you believe that working with my team can help you achieve your goals and actually fix that problem? Yes. Okay, so when would you like to get started? And the number one thing is always going to go down to obviously price. Okay, so once you go through the demo, once you go through the slideshow, whatever you want to use, we use a particular slideshow, which I'll be able to share at some point down the line. So you can then use that template. And then so we use a demo slide that basically walks them down the path, right? Walks them from the beginning of the call to actually closing. And all we ever do is ask them questions. We briefly explain how we do things in those 3 pillars. And then is literally all the prospect talking 90% of the time. And then if they are interested in what we do and they're interested in our offer, then the biggest, everyone says, yes, I'm interested, but it depends on the price. So then we have a pricing breakdown where we anchor prices. We do different techniques to actually, to get the close or to get people interested, which I will break down as well. And then if they are not closed based off the pricing breakdown, we then go into objection handling. So look, is it a price problem? Is it a value problem? Is it a trust problem? Answering their objections, if they got to talk to a partner, what that partner would say about them fixing this problem. Like there's so many things. Objection handling is a whole different topic, but typically somebody has, 2 to 3 good objections, which is quite easy to overcome as long as you are prepared and you have them written down and you've done it before. It can catch you off guard if someone has a really obscure objection, which you've never heard before, but there's always a way around it because they've already sold themselves on the program. They've already deemed themselves to be qualified. So it's really, really important that you understand that you're selling to somebody at this point that needs what you have, right? They know they need it. They need it. And the matter of the fact is now that, are they going to get comfortable with spending money to solve that problem? So it's objection handling 101 at this point. If you're still struggling to get the close, when I say the close, I mean get the invoice. We like to have a deposit method where we give someone an option to get onboarded for a deposit fee, which is fully refundable. Then after 48 hours, if they're like, this isn't what I signed up for, this isn't what I thought it was, then they get a full refund and removed from the program. This allows them to actually just, begin without actually, having to do any of that stuff. So then from there, that if they haven't closed after the deposit method, but they're still at this point, what's really important is they're interested, right? So it's not like we're trying to convince somebody that isn't interested. They've already admitted that yes, I need this program. So it's not like we're trying to change someone's belief. They know. It's just a matter of when are they going to pay? When are they going to take action, right? So what I then do if the deposit method doesn't work, I do a follow-up call. And then in this follow-up call, that is where we basically go down again on the objection handling and everything like that. And again, just to give them, 24 hours, 40 hours max to really think about their decision, speak to their wife, speak to their partner. They can do that, of course. And then, after that point, if they come back on the follow-up call and they haven't closed, they're not convinced, obviously try and handle the objections again, try and remind them of why they booked a call in the first place, what their pain points are, how this will help them, how the offer works, everything like that. And then if they still have not closed, we then say, look, obviously this obviously isn't the right time. Let's just follow up in 30 days, give you some time to try and get some more clients, try and help yourself out. Here's some free value. Here's some free content. Go watch these trainings and learn and grow. And then maybe in a month's time, you'll have the capacity, you'll have the capital and the confidence to invest in this business. So yeah, then what I do is mark on my calendar or our sales calendar like a time to then call them in 30 days to see where they're at and if they want to jump back on another call. But obviously, in a great dream outcome, someone's going to buy straight off the bat, straight after hearing pricing. They're like, yep, let's go. They pay and they sign. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer and you have to handle some objections and then they pay. Maybe some people just join based off a deposit to kind of test the waters of the program. 99% of people that pay the deposit end up paying the full amount. So it's not like even though it sounds like a fully refundable deposit is a risk, it's not, because if you have confidence in your program, you know that they're going to be like pleasantly surprised, and you're going to really handle that buyer's remorse well. They're not going to just decide, no, this isn't for me. They will continue, right? So once somebody pays you once, they're more likely to pay you again. That's a key takeaway there. And then again, if that doesn't work, that method, then the follow-up call just allows them time to speak to their wife, sleep on it, have some thought around it. You send them the recording call at this point. You send them, any testimonials, any contacts that they can reach out to that have already been for your program. Send them just loads of value and just proof of authority and trust. And then after that point, if they come back on that follow-up call and they haven't closed, you've tried your best. You've tried every method in the book, and you've really tried to help as much as possible. But at that point, it's probably better not to onboard them because it's been so difficult to actually motivate that they might not be a great client anyway, right? So most people obviously come on at any point in this state of these stages. So for you to know that, like, it's not as simple as just going, hey, I booked a call, and then you go straight to the demo call and then you close. Like, there's so many more micro steps that come into play, so many more questions and answers that have to happen. So it's not just, it's not a straight line. Even though you get like Jordan Belfort and other people, like it's a straight line theory where you go from A to B. I feel like it's more like A to B, back to A, then to Z, right? So there's a lot more that goes on than just a straight line. You can see here, sometimes people disqualify and then they come back a month later and then they buy. Like, it's not as simple as a straight line. The whole sales cycle can be really long depending on the prospect. I have people all the time that book in, they go through the process, and then 3 months later they'll book themselves back in, and then they'll pay, right? So it's not like it's always going to be in the 1 week period you're going to close. It could be a monthly thing. It could be a yearly sales cycle. So the importance of that is just keeping up face and actually having a decent content strategy, having a decent email list, sending out value consistently, doing videos like this, just trying to actually provide value to people first before asking them to pay you, a 5-figure amount. So it's this is it really. Like, this is pretty much what we do day in, day out on our side in terms of trying to close a client. I'm not like a god at sales. I've probably taken over 2,000 sales calls in the last 3.5 years, and obviously a shit ton. I say 2,000. Let me work that out. It's probably more like 1,000. If I'm going to be brutally honest, like 1,000, 1,500, which is still a shit ton of sales calls, right? But it's important that you understand it. You don't just go from 0 to 1 and master sales. Like, it's a constant skill that you're learning, skill that you're adapting to be better at. Was it sharpening your axe, sharpening your tools constantly? For someone that hasn't actually done a sales call in a few months, I would probably be awful at selling. The only bonus I have is that I know our program like the back of my hand. So it's something that benefits me well, and it should benefit you well as a business owner, is that you know your business better than anyone else. So it's a lot easier for you to sell, a lot easier for you to understand the pain points of your customers versus a sales closer that you hire externally. So there's also a process in that, but this is our whole process, right? So if I just zoom out a little bit, you can see in a nutshell, in a flow chart, if you will, it goes from a book call all the way to invoice and agreement signed. And there's multiple stages that this can happen. We're also not thinking about this, but adding an extra layer to this, where it's like follow up, interested, yes, no, like it's a continuous follow up. Right, so you could follow up with somebody for a year and they're still won't close. But as long as you're doing that process, as long as you're touching base, there's always an opportunity there for you to get the close. So it's important that you do that as well. So what I'm going to do for obviously the community inside school in our private channel is I'm actually going to build out every point of this. So like from the triage call to the demo script to the demo slide to every point of asset creation, we will have a separate video and template for, so you can go in and you can create your own. I will do my best to explain every point. We will have extensive training around the sales cycle, around selling your clients, and because it's the most important aspect of a business. If you can't sell, you could have the best system, the best service in the world, and if you can't sell anyone, you're not going to make any money, right? So this is the most important aspect of actually growing a business, and that's why there'll be a ton of training, not just content, but also weekly calls around how you can perfect your selling and how you can get better every day by each call, how you can hire a sales closer. All of that stuff we know how to do, and we'll be able to help you do the same. It's a journey, but I'm glad that I can cut your learning curve in half, especially for me, where I've gone from taking sales calls relentlessly to then eventually finding someone that can really flourish within my environment, someone I work well with, and somebody that wants the best for the business. So that's the goal. But until you have that person, you should be taking all the sales calls yourself, and it's the best way to learn. It's the best way to understand what your market wants as well. So this has been a long video, but I just wanted to do this to really show you how we sell and the process that we take each time. Okay, so any questions around this, put the comment down below, reach out in the community, and we'll be here to help. And again, this is just a bird's eye view of what we do. Don't try and reinvent your sales process just from this video. Really look into the minor the mini videos which explain each point better. Okay, so from the triage call, like I said, all the way down to the follow-up call down here, we'll make sure to develop everything you need to put that into your business. In the meantime, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.